The South Pacific held the secret of the USS Hornet, an iconic aircraft carrier of the Second World War, for more than 75 years. Submarine drones finally located it at more than 5,000 meters deep, perfectly preserved. But the robots captured a singular image, a cannon pointing to the sky and the trace of a sailor, that changed the historical narrative and revealed the terrifying human cost of the final hours. Don't forget to subscribe, give a like to support the story, and share this mystery with friends so more people can know the truth of the abyss. The South Pacific Ocean guards secrets etched in titanium and steel, silent monuments to the battles that forged modern history. No naval legend of the Second World War is as epic and as tragic as that of the USS Hornet, CV-8. This aircraft carrier was the heart of some of the boldest operations of the United States. From the daring Doolittle raid that struck Tokyo for the first time to the crucial Battle of Midway, its epic ended in October 1942 in the furious waters of the Solomon Islands, victim of the brutal Battle of Santa Cruz. For more than 75 years, the Hornet was only a vague spot on maps, a legend submerged more than 5 kilometers deep. The discovery of its remains in 2019, carried out by a cutting-edge expedition that used submarine drones, autonomous underwater vehicles, and remotely operated vehicles. AUV and ROV was not simply an archaeological find. It was an act of technological resurrection. These electronic eyes penetrated the abyssal darkness to reveal a perfectly preserved wreck, a war testimony frozen in time. But what shocked historians and scientists was not the ship itself, but a singular image captured by the drone, a visual testimony that, due to its clarity and rawness, changed everything that was believed to be known about the final hours of the aircraft carrier. This image did not reveal a hidden treasure or a ghost, but a visceral and concrete truth about the chaos, the sacrifice, and the human cost of victory. To understand the impact of the image, it is crucial to remember the historical value of the USS Hornet. Its operational life was short, barely a year, but dense in feats. It was the only ship in history to launch B-25 Mitchell terrestrial bombers in the Doolittle raid, a crucial psychological blow against Japan in April 1942. Shortly thereafter, it played a decisive role in the Battle of Midway, the victory that reversed the course of the war in the Pacific. The Hornet was not just a ship, it was a symbol of American resilience. Its fate was sealed in the Battle of the Santa Cruz Islands. On October 26, 1942, the Hornet was the target of a relentless Japanese attack. Torpedoes and bombs struck it repeatedly. Reports from the time described the scene as a floating hell, the ship without propulsion in flames but clinging to life. The crew fought heroically to save it for hours, in one of the greatest demonstrations of naval courage of the war. Finally, the United States Navy concluded that the aircraft carrier could not be saved, and that it represented a risk if it fell into enemy hands. The order was given for scuttling. American destroyers fired torpedoes and cannons to finish it off. The historical premise was that, after being hit by the Japanese and finished off by its own allies, the Hornet had descended to the depths as an unrecognizable and shattered mass. This final destruction, added to the abyssal depth, made it one of the most difficult wrecks to find. The mystery that persisted was not whether it had survived, it did not, but how it died and what its final state was. The search for the Hornet was driven by the passion of Microsoft co-founder Paul G. Allen and his team of underwater explorers Vulcan Inc. aboard the research vessel RV Petrel. After Allen's passing, the team continued his legacy, specializing in the location of lost capital ships from the Second World War. The key to their success lies in technology. The expedition did not use human divers, rendered impossible by the immense pressure at 5,300 meters, but a fleet of state-of-the-art submarine drones. These vehicles operate with astonishing precision. First, the AUV, autonomous underwater vehicles, use high-resolution side-scan sonar to map large expanses of the seabed, searching for anomalies that match the shape and size of an aircraft carrier. This is a task that requires months of mapping in an area twice the size of entire states. Once the sonar identifies a promising target, the team deploys the ROV, remotely operated vehicle. This drone is the true eye of the mission, equipped with ultra-high-definition cameras, powerful LED lights to overcome the perpetual darkness, and robotic arms. It is the ROV that descends to take the image that changes everything, transforming a simple sonar reading into a visual testimony. In the case of the Hornet, The search culminated in February 2019, after the RV Petrel had searched the area for the wreck. When the ROV finally made visual contact with the Hornet, the RV Petrel crew was stunned. The preconceived notion of a wreck shattered and scattered across the seabed. The product of Japanese torpedo explosions and Allied shrapnel dissipated. The Hornet lay incredibly upright, settled on its keel, as if it had landed softly. The abyssal depth, 5,334 meters, turned out to be the best preservation camera. At that distance from the surface, the lack of light, the absence of strong currents, and crucially the scarcity of oxygen and wood-boring organisms, such as marine borers that devour wood, stopped the biological clock. The aircraft carrier was not a rusted skeleton, but a colossus frozen in time. The drone's cameras began to send sharp images of the superstructure, the flight control tower, the island, and the vast deck. Details could be seen that would only be expected to be found in a museum. Anti-aircraft gun systems, the bow anchor, and even radio structures. The level of detail was so vivid that, despite the decades, it seemed as if the ship had sunk the previous week. The mission had not found a ruin. It had found an underwater mausoleum. If the sight of this frozen colossus and the loneliness of that perfectly folded coat have moved you, you have just witnessed how technology rewrites history. But the most crucial part is still missing. How did the American destroyers actually manage to sink a ship that refused to die? Show us that you want to know the final truth. Hit like right now and subscribe to join our expedition to the heart of the Hornet mystery. The true finding that shocks and alters the historical narrative is not the overall integrity of the ship, but the incredible clarity of the details captured by the drones. The USS Hornet was sunk by Allied forces to prevent it from falling into Japanese hands. The official story says that 10 torpedoes and hundreds of projectiles were needed. The key image that changed everything was the visual evidence, captured by the ROV, of the extent and type of damage and, more poetically, the artifacts of the final minutes. Instead of relying on battle reports written in the heat of combat, which often contain errors and hasty judgments, the drones provided an eyewitness account of the ship's final truth. First, images of the hull showed the catastrophic damage from Japanese bombs and torpedoes on the starboard side, verifying the extent of the initial destruction. Second, the cameras captured the anti-aircraft gun batteries, Oerlikon of 20mm and the 1.1-inch guns, still pointing to the sky. This image is monumental. It changes the narrative from an abandoned ship to a vessel that fought to its last breath. It confirms that the crew, until the moment they received the order to evacuate, kept their weapons ready, immortalizing the spirit of resistance of those sailors. And third, the vestiges of the crew. On the deck, the image of an international harvester towing tractor, used to move planes, was perfectly preserved. And even more intimately, the cameras detected a perfectly folded or hung coat near the deck. This is the most shocking image. It is not evidence of war. It is a human footprint. Did it belong to a sailor who left it hastily to evacuate? Was it left by an engineer knowing he would not return? This minute and personal detail changed the abstraction of 2,200 men evacuated by the singular face of a sailor who left his coat. This constellation of images changed everything because it transcended the historical data. The ship was sunk by 10 torpedoes. To reveal the experience, the anti-aircraft team was waiting for another attack, and a man left his coat thinking of returning. The submarine drone, with its cold and precise eye, became the final witness to human courage and mechanical chaos. The exploration of the USS Hornet and the image captured by the drone underscores the crucial role of modern technology in deep-sea archaeology. Before high-capacity AUV and ROV, wrecks of this depth were inaccessible, destined to remain legends. Now, technology not only finds them but documents them with a fidelity that surpasses imagination. The Hornet, along with other discoveries by Vulcan Inc., such as the Wasp or the Lexington, are more than remnants. They are war graves. The clarity of the drone images reinforces the solemnity of these sites, which are not for salvage or exploitation, but for memory. The wreck becomes a time capsule for materials science, seeing how steel and titanium resist the abyss, and for military history. The image of the cannon pointing to the sky, recorded with artificial light at 5,300 meters, is a visual reminder of the price paid for peace. The submarine drone, a modern automaton of fiber optics and algorithms, has become the custodian of human epics. By capturing the image of that coat, the drone did not just record an artifact, it made a discovery of immaterial value. It revealed the unbreakable connection between the fragility of human life and the monumentality of war machines. It is a truth that will remain visible, silent, and perfect in the heart of the Pacific Ocean, thanks to the technology that defied the darkness. The USS Hornet, CV-8, was a symbol in 1942. Today, it is a testament, and that solitary, clean, and clear image of a personal detail on a steel battlefield is the fragment of history that submarine drones have rescued, changing forever the way we understand its tragic end. This image of a cannon pointing to the sky, recorded in the abyssal darkness, is the most honest testimony of the Hornet crew's sacrifice. Modern technology allowed us to witness its last battle, honoring the sailors who fought until the end. If this submarine epic has moved you, it is essential that you subscribe and leave a comment about which of the artifacts you found most impactful. Give a like and share this incredible discovery that changed history.